Wowee-woo. What is going on, everyone? Jay Craft here, Facebook group All Around Pickers Lounge. We are on our pre-show right now. I'm trying to wake up as always. And I know this might come as somewhat of a surprise to some of you guys, but it for some reason happens to where I am pressed right against the clock to get everything done right before the show starts. And I can't figure it out. It just seems like every week I get inundated with stuff right before I go live, or stuff will happen or something like that. And yes, Lisa, we did say cake. We'll be talking about cake later. I'm in the process of trying to shuffle some stuff over. I might be able to get it done in time. I'm trying to move stuff over to the computer so that way I can show it on air, but I don't know. We'll see if I can get it done in time. I hope everyone's doing well. Yes, get yourself some cake tonight. Hello to you, Amanda. I'm going to be talking about you here after the show starts as well, so I don't want you to think I forgot about you. Let me see if I can move these over to my drive really quick and then get them off the drive. I might not be able to see my darn drive with all the stuff on screen, but I'm going to see if there's a way that I can get it set up really quick so I can show you guys the photos. Maybe I have to scoot this over real quick. So I would really like to be able to share with you some of the birthday festives. Oh my gosh, come on, prepare these files. See, that's the problem. I took really, really high-res photos, so I simply might not be able to get it done in time. But I've just been like a chicken with my head cut off today. Yeah, look, it's trying its hardest. It's trying to get the files put together, but it's struggling. I might have to do it the analog way and just show you guys on screen. That might have to be a thing, but we'll see. We will see. This thing. But yeah, I hope everyone's doing well tonight. I don't mean to be boring you with my antics as I try and get things going, but we should have a decent show tonight. I'm not promising greatness, but it should at least be decent. Mildly acceptable at a minimum. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to turn the air up really quick. What kind of production is this guy running here? Just walks away from the camera and mic. Thinks everyone just has infinite time to be waiting on him. Can't believe this Jay Craft guy. It's ridiculous. Okay, looks like we're not going to be able to get the photos on screen. It's requesting my Wi-Fi, and due to technical issues from last week, all the bandwidth is just getting eaten up on that, so we might even have a special guest popping in tonight too. We're still figuring all of that out right now. Thank you, Mindy, for the group chat notification to let everyone know to get on over here to the show. But yeah, guys, I'm trying to wake up again right now. It's been a heck of a week. It's been a heck of a day. Today's been a challenging day, to say the least. But it's been a great week. And I think sometimes people will confuse my busyness or my fatigue, or when I say, like, I don't know. I was talking with the wonderful woman that I've been dating for the last couple of months now, and I told her that I was having a very challenging day. It was very demanding, the things that needed to get done to me. And she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you're having a bad day." And I told her, I'm like, "I'm not having a bad day. I'm like, I had a great day today, actually." I'm like, I enjoy the challenge. I enjoy the push. I enjoy seeing what I can get accomplished in one day. And I have no problem going to bed exhausted, but being able to put my seal of approval on the day. And that's something that I've talked about before, but maybe we'll elaborate on that point later. This will be the most unstructured show I've ever done. Also, I'm surprised no one has noticed yet. Everything you're looking at looks different right now. Why has no one noticed this? So the entire background is much darker now. We raised the opacity on it. We had to change 100% of the show music. That means pre-roll, intro, outro, on-screen music during the show. 100% of it had to be flushed out due to frivolous copyright claims against my channel. We lost a fair amount of revenue potential because of these copyright claims. So we had to make some changes. I'll probably talk about that a little bit more once things start up, but if you're noticing different music, that would be why. Also, if somebody could let me know how I sound compared to the music in the background. Is the music too loud? Am I too loud? Am I getting a little choppy? Am I getting a little off sounding? Just let me know how it's coming through. And then the intro is going to be playing. And the intro, I tried to balance it out. And thank you for that, Landshark. I tried to balance it out. Lee James! Good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you in a show in a long time. Thank you for being here. And Anna Marie Lubo, busy is great. Just spent 2 hours studying for the history exam in 2 weeks. The quiz today, 1/3 of that material. Oh well, I'm ready. That's great. Music too loud, you sound good. Sounds good, maybe a tad less music. And you know what? We have the power to do that. So we'll bring the music down another 5 decibels. How about there? How's that sound, guys? And the intro, when the intro comes in, I'm going to try to work with the intro music, but we have a whole new host of effects that we weren't able to do before, that because I had to go through and reprogram everything, we're going to be able to do for the first time. And I'll explain those here in just a second. Anne-Marie, I'm always happy to hear when I hit that sweet spot. Music down more. Oh my gosh. Hey, we'll try 3.5 more decibels. We'll see how that goes. And I've switched off of regular milk in my coffee in hopes that I'm not as phlegmy on air, and using soy milk now. Yeah. You know what it is, Craig? Landshark Picker? Don't mind me doxing you, but our old ears are unable to hear how loud this children's music is. You know, this hip stuff these kids are listening to nowadays. It's too much for our delicate ears, you know. But I truly do hope everyone out there is having an absolutely amazing day. I hope you all had an amazing week, and I'm not just saying that for the sake of saying that. I really do mean that each and every week, and I seriously can't say enough how much it means to me that you guys come down here and join me each and every Sunday. It's very nice. It was very significant for me. This has been very much so a reflexive week. Are you really, Amanda? I don't think you are. Oh, I got a story for you guys. Remember last week? I'm like, guys, I'm turning 35. Remember that? Turns out I turned 34. I know that sounds ridiculous. I don't care. I don't keep track of the years. That's not like me trying to be a denialist of the fact that I'm getting older, but I really didn't. I really didn't pay attention. I thought I was turning 35, but I turned 34 this year. So on track for 35. And I'm happy to hear that I'm not alone in that, Amanda. So I'll tell you what, Amanda, because it's such an off-color thing, I'm going to talk about it right now because it kind of blends in with the show. Maybe I'll mention it a little bit during the show too. Those of you guys who don't know, about Amanda Hull. She actually owns a new coffee brand, which is kind of exciting. I actually got her stuff right here. She was so nice to send me out some samples. It's Element Coffee Company, and I've been drinking it for the last couple of days. She sent me over some French roast samples. Okay, and I'm gonna we usually don't allow this, Amanda, but if you want to put your link in the description, it's shopelementcoffee.com, and she has these really nice business cards. I'm gonna cover up your phone number. And the thing is, I'm really hypercritical about business cards, but her card it's actually really nice looking, really well designed, and me and her went back and forth on logo and branding and stuff like that, and I'm actually really impressed with this card. And it's not often that I'm impressed with them. Usually I get them, look at them, and I throw them in the trash because they're so hideous. So if you're looking for some really fresh coffee, maybe the K-Cups or the stuff you've been buying is just a little bit on the stale side, and kind of all issues with the oils in the coffee, and you want to try something a little bit different, maybe go check her out. We don't get paid anything for this. She's just a friend of mine, and we've been working together on different projects, and she's a great person to brainstorm with too. So, if you got some ideas in that space, maybe go talk to her a little bit. But if you want some coffee samples, she sent me out some samples. I'm sure if you're somebody within the creative space, she would be happy to send you some samples if maybe you let some people know about it, or if you just want to try it out. But maybe reach out to her. Go ahead and put that link in the description or in the comments, Amanda, and we'll make sure that people can check it out. So guys, we got a new song for the 2-minute mark. So I don't know if you guys know this. This 2-minute mark is where I'll put on a song that I feel is going to get me in the mood, get me like pumped up and ready to do a show. So it's going to be a little more upbeat, a little more tempo driven, something that makes you want to smile, get some work done. Yes, Pam, they're absolutely gorgeous cards, and I told her before, there's only like 1 or 2 small revisions. Oh, it won't post it. Okay, Amanda, I got you. And you guys know this. I generally will not do this, and she didn't ask for me to do this. She didn't expect for me to do this. I just told her that I would do that for her. Actually, let's make it clickable. There we go. Now it's clickable. So yeah, go ahead and click on that. Go check it out. Debbie Does Sales in the audience. Debbie Does Sales is famous right now, if you guys didn't know that. I'm actually really proud of some of the recent work that she's done, and I've been talking with her a little bit behind the scenes, and all in a very positive way, all very informative, but it is so refreshing to see somebody cut from a similar cloth who cares about the community, who cares about honesty and integrity within the community, and seeing to it that people have access to fact-based, intelligible information. So thank you for that, Debbie. I know I was in no way connected with the thing that was going on, but you sent it my direction, and I just want to thank you for being an advocate for other sellers out there. It's so important. And you're very welcome, Amanda. Thank you for the coffee. She sent me over, I think, 4 or 5 K-Cups, and I've been drinking them. And I mean, I even told her, too, I'm like, we'd love to have you as a sponsor, especially if the company takes off, because, I mean, who doesn't like free coffee? And I am picky on my coffee. I'm over here with my... And I went and got Starbucks today because I really want espresso with my coffee during the show, and I don't have an espresso machine. So if you're wondering, like, Jay, why are you drinking Starbucks when you're talking about another brand? It's because I want espresso. You see how that's changed? Look, it says thank you to our sponsors now, and then over here it says the show will begin any moment. So we're going to be trying out a brand new intro right now. Same-ish intro. We had to change the music. I'll explain that here in a bit. I apologize if this doesn't work well. We are trying it out for the first time ever. Let's see. Please enjoy. What is going on, guys? This is Jay Kraft here with the Facebook group Bull Around Pickers Lounge, coming at you live again from beautiful Bakersfield, California. Today is September 8th, 2019, and we are going to be having a very, very big show, but it's also going to be a relaxed show, okay? We're going to be taking things a little bit easy, okay? And if you noticed, We got a little bit of changes with the music. I don't know if it's coming through. If it's coming through, let me know. But tonight's show, it's not going to be like our typical show where we go deep dive into some news topics and, really try and question everything that we hear about online regarding the world of e-commerce. This show is going to be relaxed. So tonight what we're going to be doing is we're going to be enjoying a little bit of cake because I celebrated my birthday just a few days back. So we're going to have some cake on air. If you have any questions for me about either myself, the reseller community, being a reseller yourself, goals, ambitions, dreams, whatnot, feel free to ask them in the comments tonight. And on top of that, we're also going to be taking a small dive into the fall seller update. If you missed the video earlier this week, I did one on, I believe it was Wednesday. It was a live show, and we covered all of the fine details of the seller update. Please go back and check that out. It's a little over an hour long, but if you want that full, deep teardown about the seller update, that's where you're going to want to go. You're going to want to go watch that. But if you're just here for some highlights, I'll be frank with you guys. I didn't make any slides. I didn't summarize anything. I'm just going to skim over some details, but I'll tell you what, if you got questions, I have every single imaginable answer that you could ask for, because not only did I read all the FAQ, I read the terms of services, and I read the updated user agreement. I know every single change that happened, so if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. I want to thank everyone who took the time to be here tonight. We have a full house here with us. We have Amanda Hall with shopelementcoffee.com. She sent me some coffee. And now that we're in the main show, I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to hear about it. Go check out her website. And here's the thing, guys. We don't make anything for this. We're just helping another reseller out. Okay, she's a professional reseller too. And I always talk about the importance of, at some point making that transition with your money. You got to invest it into something because, having $10,000 buying power is great, but starting a new company and then being able to create more investable money, that's also great. So let's pay a little bit of respect to a fellow reseller who's made that jump and she's starting her own company. Let's go give her a little bit of a hand if we can. So go check out our website. We got Roger Key Web Co. He's also a brand owner too. Definitely check out his content. We got Lori. Thank you for that birthday wish. Landshark Picker, another content creator. Maybe go check him out too. He's got a great channel. Debbie Does Sales, really great channel as of late. But we got so many great people out there right now in the audience. And don't cry, Amanda. Don't cry. No, you know what I always tell women? I tell women that I am not worth your tears. Okay, save them for somebody else. But that's very thoughtful of you to say that. And I do truly wish you the best with everything you're doing. And then, guys, after many, many, many requests, okay, we're going to be looking at the pickups that I have backstocked. I have 2 bins worth of pickups. We got some interesting stuff, okay? We have a record-breaking piece of electronics. We have a first of its kind within home improvement that I've never had before. And we have some vintage glass. So we have a little bit of everything that we're going to be looking at. And guys, if you missed last week's show, I say every show is a big show and the best show, but last week's show, we talked about Amazon having another stack of lawsuits, Target's response to Amazon's one-day shipping, eBay and the LBGQT Plus celebrations that they had throughout the entire world, actually. They were represented in a handful of different places. And then also Shopify passing eBay in market capitalization, as well as eBay's vocal support for the UPU. Now, those of you who don't know, there's a special call happening. I believe it's happening tomorrow for the Small Business Ambassador Network. And I am fortunate to be a part of that network. And during that call, we are going to be learning why eBay feels strongly in support of the UPU and the implications of that. Now, when this news came to me that they were in support of it and that they were going to be having a call, they reached out to me and they said, hey, we want your questions. We want to know what you think. We want to know your thoughts. We want your question. What do you want us to answer during our call? And me, being the hardball, no-nonsense person that I am, went ahead and sent out my letter to them. And I said, China has shown 6% economic growth last year, double that of ours, and is also the second largest market globally. If action doesn't happen now, our reliance on them for goods at cheap prices will only become greater. My colleagues and I agree that an adjustment to the rates for China, Vietnam, and other China partner countries would be beneficial for American sellers. This being said, why is eBay in such strong opposition to something that could benefit American sellers and put America on a more even and competitive playing field with the rest of the world? I support the exit of the UPU, China being moved to Group 1, and the end of e-packets for all countries. We, the American people, are footing the bill for other countries' discounted rates. No other country pays to assist our shipping efforts in their country. China is no longer a third world country, and they do not need our assistance to complete globally any longer. I look forward to your answers on September 9th. Cheers. So that being said, okay, I'm really anxious. And I actually received a response back from the S-Band team, and they said, we will answer that question. So guess who's going to be recording the entire phone call? Of course, if I get clearance. If not, I am legally allowed to transcribe my findings. Now, if you would like to be in on that call, whether you are a volume seller or this is something that affects you directly, reach out to me this evening and I'll see what I can do about getting you partnered up to be a part of that call as well. And I just felt like we should jam that in there. And like I said, we're going to be taking a very, very casual stroll and casual look at everything today. Let's get this fixed. Let's make this just slightly better. I look like I just woke up, I swear. I brushed my hair, I even trimmed it a little bit, but I look like I just came out of bed. So guys, I think we have everything working the way that it should be working. We had to make so many changes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and pull this up. Oh, I also want to start off by saying, now that we explained what happened last week, I want to say thank you to Chris King. He went ahead and contacted me before the show and said, hey, been loving your content as of recent. He donated $25 to the show. I just wanted to give you a thank you on air. And then again, thank you to Amanda. I'm happy to see, people are signing up for her email. That's fantastic. Now, Amanda, you may want to partner up with Roger. He does a lot of stuff within the e-com world. So, guys, that is literally where my notes end. That's the extent of my notes. Like I said, I did not prepare much for today, but I want to start off by saying we had some tech issues. And I, like I said, I know a lot of you are here for what's going on with the world of eBay, Amazon, etc. But this week, my channel got hit with a handful of strikes for music that I had been using. So you guys know the classic Reseller Roundup, that really cool, very hip, very fast-moving intro that had a lot of energy and a lot of drive to it. Really got me pumped up and amped to be doing the show. Well, that song got sold to Epidemic Sounds, and even though I had legal usage rights for that music, now that Epidemic Sounds owns it, they've gone ahead and claimed a handful of my videos, which means that any of the money that I would have made on those videos, I no longer get to keep. Okay, so every view, every ad dollar, everything that happens on those videos, that money's gone now. And there's literally nothing I can do about it. So what we have done here, and by we, I mean I, spent 15 or 20 hours this weekend redoing everything. So all of the pre-roll music, the intro music, in-show music, and I went ahead and put together a polished outro earlier today. We should now be in a position where we're no longer going to have to deal with any more copyright issues moving forward. Roger says, I don't use music much at all, and I'm always afraid the right-free status changes. Yeah, and Roger, I actually have located a resource, if you want to reach out to me, where you can get completely usable, verified, legally usable music without having to give any credit to anyone. But that being said, though, I do actually want to credit White Hex for providing about 90% of the music for this intro, even though I don't have to. It was really, really quality stuff that he produced for the pre-roll, so thank you to him for producing that. But feel free to reach out to me. I'll get you thousands of free songs that you can use, and I'll even point you in the right directions on ones that you might enjoy. So that's what's going on here. We've done a lot of house cleaning to try and make things just a little bit more polished to be able to do that. And there is a YouTube channel, but you have to be careful, okay? You have to be careful with some of the channels that aren't official, especially the ones that do look official. So, guys, let's go and talk about the seller update real quick. We're going to go ahead and say thank you to our patrons for helping make this show possible. Extra special thank you to Pam, Matthew, Ashley, Anna and Joe, Allie, Lee James, Brandy, and Rob. And if for some reason you're tuning in for the first time and you don't know what Patreon is, it's a way for you, the viewer, to be able to help support us, the creator, which is different than our Super Chat. Guys, if you didn't know, if you make an offering to the eBay gods, good sales will await you. So consider pressing that Super Chat button if you'd like to donate to the show this evening. So let me pull up my fall seller update shortcut notes. Guys, we had a bunch of changes. I'm going to try and hammer through some of these really quick without big detail. If you are a seller who needs information on the update, feel free to stop me at any time and I'll get you that information that you might need. Okay, first up, we had a whole bunch of marketplace updates. They have new managed payments features and more ways to be able to refund people. So, yeah, as you guys know, managed payments is right around the corner, and they went ahead and reiterated what type of payment options are going to be available. They talked about how the new refund API is going to be getting introduced into the Seller Hub, and they also explained that there's a new finances API coming soon, as well as gave a little more color and clarity regarding how your postage is to be paid on managed payments. Again, all of the details, like if you have deep questions regarding this, by all means you can ask them, but we do have a separate video that's about an hour long that came out earlier this week. And while I'm on that thought, if you haven't done so yet, guys, please subscribe to the channel. That's the best way to get plugged into our content. And I noticed, I don't know how this keeps happening, guys. And you know, I know how intelligent all of you are, okay? And I understand that mistakes happen sometimes, but somehow 3 of you accidentally clicked the dislike button. And you know, I've been trying to figure out what it's going to take to be able to help some of the people who are really confused between the 2 buttons. This is the one you want to hit, okay? And when you're on other people's channels, that's the one you want to hit, okay? No, I'm kidding. Spread love to everyone. But I feel bad for those who every week just come here and just try and drop some negativity on me. But yeah, on top of that, okay, you can increase your business with the multi-user account, which we're going to be calling MUA from here moving forward. The multi-user account allows third-party vendors, virtual assistants, other people you work with to be able to gain access to your eBay account and just be able to help you out with stuff. They'll be able to make new listings. They'll be able to revise existing listings and stuff like that. They'll be able to do all kinds of good stuff. Okay. And in the future, it's going to be expanded out so that they're going to have more power, more access to be able to change more things on the account. But of course, you're going to have the discretion as far as what they can do, whether they can be on your account, and you'll have full power as far as when you can remove them. And now if you want to turn that on, just go visit your Seller Hub and you'll be able to give access to that. Now, it's a great thing, honestly, for those of you who are within the space that I'm in, trainers, instructors, etc., to be able to get extra access to people's accounts to be able to give them a hand. So if you're somebody in a position, let's say somebody like Craig, and you have some information, you want to be able to work on somebody else's account as a trainer, you can say, hey, just go ahead and add me to your multi-user account. I'll jump on in there and I'll get this correction made for you. And it'll be really good too when it comes to revising and adjusting listings. There's a lot of little things that you can do to be able to help out other sellers in that way. On top of that, we have a whole host of new growth tools that are coming to the platform as well. We're going to be able to now send offers to people who have items inside of their carts for more than 5 days. So if you're one of those people who, you know, you just have that feeling, you're like, you know, I've got 800 watchers on my darn belt buckles, and I know some people have them in their carts. What's it going to take to actually convert these people? And what's going to be really, really interesting, I guess, is beyond the ability to send them an offer, I'm really curious how many people have my items in their carts. Like, how many people got to the point with an item where they threw it in the cart and then didn't commit to it, okay? Let me ask you, okay? If you go to your eBay app right now, how many items do you have in your cart, okay? I don't think I have any personally. Okay. I know I have items on my watch list, but I don't think I have anything in my cart. Okay, let's find out right now. Shopping cart. Yeah, my shopping cart is plumb dry. Okay. So how many people are hovering with things in their shopping cart? Now, the thing is, if I could access people who had the item on their watch list, that would be a whole nother story. But I don't know how eBay buyers would feel knowing that somebody would be able to tell if they're watching an item. Maybe not necessarily it's that person in particular, but just having that. I have 2 items in my watch list. Okay, not even that many there either. So it's a pretty interesting and pretty powerful tool. Guys, I forgot to mention, we're going to be having a little bit of cake later. So if you haven't gotten some cake out yet, just make sure you get some cakes or snacks at some point. We're gonna eat a little bit. Like I said, we're having a little birthday shindig, celebration, party, explosion, all that good stuff. So make sure you have something, cake or cookies. So on top of that, guys, now you're going to be able to negotiate with people via your inbox. So if somebody you send an outbound offer to, no longer is it going to be only on the origin message. You'll be able to do inbound, outbound offers back and forth as if you were on a normal item. Now, the thing is, it still doesn't work on PC. You can only do this on mobile. Okay, or excuse me, my apologies. It only works on PC. You can't do it on mobile. Okay, so if you are going to be sending out those outbound offers to people, make sure you do it on a computer. Otherwise, when they receive it, they will not have the opportunity to counteroffer you. Now, that should get smoothed out here within the next week, maybe even a month or so like that, but that's something to keep in mind. I thought it was what best offer was based on people who were watching the item. I am sorry, FGS, I'm not exactly following that question. So if as of right now, with the new updates the way they are, is if you have somebody who is, let me get this raised up. If you have somebody who's watching your item, you can send outbound offers to them, but you can also now send outbound offers to people who have them in their cart. And you also don't have to worry about two messages. So if eBay system is set up to where that user is only going to get one message from you regarding a specific item. Now, if they have multiple items from you, they may receive multiple messages about multiple items, which can happen sometimes if you're somebody who really dominates a very specific category. If you're somebody who dominates retro video games, you're going to have a situation, or let's say collectible toys, for instance. If you have a very, very fine type of brand with limited stock, you're working with maybe like figure art, SH figure art type models, you may be ending up with multiple messages going to people. So I hope that offered a little bit of a color for you on that one. On top of that, we're seeing changes to promoted listings. You're going to be able to do them on a mobile device moving forward. That's kind of cool. And just make sure you have the newest version of the app. It has to be 5.3, 5, or newer. And they're bringing over more of the TerraPeak options to the Seller Hub too, which is going to be great news. And what's really crazy, make sure you go visit TerraPeak before it's gone. It is literally a historic site. They are going to be taking the site down. So if you've never used it, I mean, don't miss out on this moment in history. It's only been active for, 10, 15 years now? Go make one last visit to it, pay your last respects, and get ready for it to be gone. And I was really surprised that that was a thing. What is the email limited per buyer? So the number of messages that a specific buyer can receive is going to be based on his marketing settings. eBay also has tools on the back end to make sure that one person doesn't get too many offers. So if they have, 500 items in their cart for whatever reason, maybe they're doing market research or keeping track of competitors, for instance. I've had that happen before, where I've had a reason to keep 100 items in my cart because it was the quickest way to tell if an item was out of stock or not. That way I can watch a specific category. So if I'm watching just one type of item, let's take this. And kudos to those of you who know what this is. Okay, I'm sorry it's not focusing like it should. That autofocus is a little bit tricky. There we go. Those of you who know what this is, if I want to watch every one of these online and I can just throw them all in my cart, then once they go out of stock, they'll just simply get removed from the cart. It's just a very, very clever way of doing that. So, yeah, you don't want dings. That's for darn sure. So, yeah, there's rules in place for stuff like that. It's within the terms of service. And remember, it's an opt-out type service. So if you don't want those messages coming to your inbox, you got to opt out. But at the end of the day, people who have eBay accounts are there to buy on one end, and those who have eBay accounts on our end are there to sell. So I think it's a win-win for everyone involved. It's a huge W for eBay. Again, it's them saying, trade a little bit of revenue in exchange for some velocity, which just seems to be the whole idea. How much money are you willing to give up to get the sale? And then eBay, from their perspective, how much money are you willing to give up so that we can get paid? We want to get paid. So will you give up some money? We'll give you tools. We'll help you give up more money so you can get in touch with your person. But we just want to get paid. So just keep in mind the perspective. When anyone's helping you, I always say this: ask what their motivation is. Ask what they stand to gain out of it. So why is eBay making this change? They have the opportunity to make more money. I've got no problems with it. And I'll say this too. Overall, I am relatively pleased with the update as a whole, but there is a lot of little hidden stuff in there as always that seems to be getting glossed over by some of the larger creators within the space, which is truly unfortunate, because those of the 35 of you who are here now, or the 500 of you in total who are going to watch this over time, you're the ones that are really going to benefit the most out of all of this. Here, let me refresh this window really quick. Sorry, I'm just getting everything tidied up on the other computer real fast. the analytics weren't updating properly. God, there's 6 idiots out there who still couldn't figure out how to do the buttons correctly. Okay, what else do we have going on? We have changes to the way that inventory is going to be getting managed as well. We have some categories that are going to be getting switched around too. Remember, you check your listings to make sure the ones that are in affected categories do get sorted out, because if they're not in the right categories and then they get bumped across, you may actually see an increase in your fees. It's going to be a very, very small percentage of you, but it's certainly something, if you have thousands and thousands of items online, you're probably going to want to look into. And I know there's only a handful of viewers who fall within that category as well. Let's see what else we got. If those of you who are selling cars, we have a lot of changes for what's going on there. I'm not going to go into the details on it. Basically, everything's getting more expensive, and there's streamlined options for those of you who are selling 6 or more cars, or excuse me, streamlined options for those of you who are listing 6 or more cars per year. We also learned about new protections for top-rated sellers. So if you're a top-rated seller, congratulations to you. I'm not. You know, it's one of those things. I can't get my tracking validation up because USPS just simply will not scan the packages before everyone leaves at night. And I know what you're saying, like, Jay, just wait in line, watch them scan your packages. I don't have 2.5 hours each week, okay, to wait in a 20-minute line and then watch somebody scan my packages. I cannot find 2.5 hours. I drive to the post office, I dump the bin there, and then I head back home. And if they scan them, great. If they don't, also fine. I'm not gonna fight for these additional perks, but they do have a whole host of new perks that are specifically for those who have top-rated seller status. We're talking things like getting credit back on buyers who are claiming false item not as described cases. You can get $6 back shipping credit that you offered outbound for them to be able to send the item back. And then on top of that, you can also get additional protections against negative feedbacks, neutral feedbacks. You also have more power when it comes to being able to report the buyer, and that's what eBay is saying. Report them first, and we'll do what we can to help you out as well on our end. So those extra protections are going to be nice for those of you who qualify for that. Let me read some of these comments real quick. Hello to you, Perf Fines. I was just thinking about you earlier today. I was trying to remember. It's Callie, right? I don't want to call you out or anything, but I was putting together the credits, and I wanted to make sure that I had it right. Roger, I was with for 10 years. USPS did the same to me on and off TRS for the last 2 years. FYI, closed eBay. You're a savage, Roger. I can't imagine closing my eBay right now, but I do see a day in the future where something like that may happen. You know, we've talked before about Prairie Grid in the past, and I'm not allowed to say what I know right now regarding Prairie Grid, but Roger, they're doing some big things that might really help your business, and we're probably going to have Sean back on the air probably within the next month, maybe 2 months, to talk about some of those changes that are happening. But it's going to be interesting to see how that platform is going to work to actually directly compete with eBay. They've got some big stuff going. So interesting stuff. And I'm happy to hear everyone's doing well out there as well. They also have some new tools in place to be able to hide all of your listings if you violate their policy now. And that's basically eBay's overreaching to make sure they're compliant with governmental changes. So be mindful of that. And I really wanted to offer some extra color on this. I saw a lot of questions from people regarding my statement on return policies. So we have your previous return policy, and then we have the new ones that are going to be in place in February 2020. Okay, so if you're on the option, that one option, it's going to get moved to the other option. So let me explain what's going to be getting moved. Okay, so if you have right now a no return policy, all sales final, in February 2020, you can still have a no returns, all sales final policy. Okay, and remember what I was talking about when I talked about the difference between top rated seller and then top rated seller plus you're offering 30-day returns. For some of the things that we're talking about, those extra perks, you must have 30-day returns on as well. You have to have it, okay? But eBay is not requiring you to accept returns. It is only optional if you want that added perk of the extra credit and the protection against negative and neutral, and you're also a top-rated seller. It's very, very convoluted. Like it's basically saying you do all the things we want you to do, and then you do more, then we'll go ahead and, we'll help you out. But if you're only doing the things that we require of you because we control your business, we're going to give you some benefits. But we're not going to give you the whole host of benefits, even if you're a 100% seller, even if you have no negatives, no neutrals, and you've never done anything wrong, we're still not going to give them to you because you know what? You're not a great seller because you don't offer 30-day returns. So that's kind of how they're going to stick you with that one. So now here's the thing. If you have a 3-day, 7-day, 14-day, or 30-day return policy, 3, 7, 14, or 30, okay? In February 2020, those will all automatically turn into 30-day returns, okay? So if you offer any level of returns, it will turn into 30-day returns. Now, if you offer free returns, if you're an absolute maniac who has free returns on your account, okay, and you currently have free 3-day, 7-day, 14-day, or 30-day, those are all going to get turned into free 30-day returns. Now, this is a change that is automatically happening on your account, okay? It is an opt-out program, so if you do nothing, you will automatically get rolled into this, okay? It's very, very clear that, very, very important that you guys understand how this is working, okay? It is an opt-out, okay? So if you want to change it, now would be the time to do so. Get proactive on your accounts, okay? If you have a 60-day return, okay, that will stay a 60-day return. If you have a free 60-day return, that will stay a free 60-day return. This chart is available on our page on Facebook. Link in the comments right now. Go join my darn Facebook page, okay? Unless you're one of those people who can't figure out the up and down thumbs button, then stay off our page. We can't really work with you, okay? If you have no returns, Aaron, okay, it will stay no returns. I can't make that any clearer. Okay, so your existing no return policy will stay exactly the same. Now, I'm going to say this. I am reaching here. This is Jay pulling out from his bag of predictions for 2020. 2020, and this is my prediction. This is my opinion. 2020 will be the last year that we will be able to offer no returns on eBay. That is my prediction. I can see that 100% happening. By 2021, we will all have to offer some form of returns on eBay. And I can see them padding it first. They're probably going to softball it and say, you know, if you're willing to do some type of return on eBay, okay, we will offer something to you. We will offer like a 1% discount or a 2% discount on your final value fees for those listings that have returns. And I could have sworn they did something like this in the past too. It almost sounds like a eBay-ish thing. Landshark says, just another step moving in the Amazon direction. And you know, here's the thing. I really want to expand upon a lot of these ideas that many of you are talking about here in the comments. Is that I think eBay has come to terms with the fact that they've lost this battle with Amazon. Okay, that's just how it is. They realize that there's only so much space, and frankly, Amazon doesn't even fit in their own space anymore. They've scaled so far up that they're not able to manage everything that's happening under the hood currently. I do feel that eBay understands it's going to be foolish to attempt to scale that far. And I don't think it's even anywhere on their radar to consider even scaling that far. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Thank you, Roger, for explaining to people the up and down. It's a challenging concept for some. As fast as other selling platforms with better seller protections pop up, can they have an effect on eBay? Well, I mean, look at sites like Etsy, look at sites like Posh, look at sites like Mercari, okay? Many of these sites are being run by former eBay CEOs, and for good reason. They had these brilliant ideas that they weren't having listened to at eBay. They got swept under the rug, and they said, okay, screw it. The first company that comes along and offers me a reasonable salary, $1, $2, $3 million a year, I'm just going to head on over there and I'm going to divulge everything I know about the space, and I'm going to bring all my trade secrets along. It would not surprise me at all if someday someone called me up and asked me to work on their e-com brand. You know, those who have a solid bead on what's actually happening within their market and can influence positive change for a brand are wildly valuable within Silicon Valley. It's going to be nuts to see. Been on Etsy for 11 years. Holy cow. You are a veteran to the platform for sure. Yeah, no, it's great. Roger, let me read some of your comments. And we're going to charge him more and not give you those benefits. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, with PayPal, that's the other end of it too, is the PayPal integration. Because we have to remember that even though eBay is moving over to Adyen, the internal managed payments program, that they are still going to be accepting PayPal. And that they actually quietly asked for an extension to be able to roll people over to Adyen. So we had the original projection way back when, which was 2019, everything was going to be done. And then they said mid 2020 is the current one, but the extension allows them to go till 2021. So I think they're trying to get everything done quickly, but we're going to see what happens. And here's the other thing too. I want to say thank you to those of you, and before I forget, if you come across a great news article that you want me to read, research, and expand upon, send it to me. I love it. I love it, love it, love it when people send me articles, because it tells me what you think is important, and which is what I want to know. I don't want to come in here and talk about stuff that no one cares about, because that doesn't do me any value at all. I'm not here just to hear my own voice speak, okay? So if you have great articles you want me to talk about, send them my direction. And we had somebody send over some articles recently about this stuff and the direction that eBay is going, and we love seeing that type of stuff. So send it on over, okay? I can't remember which article. I remember, I think it was James or somebody. They sent me over an article regarding all of this stuff. But I want to keep my thumb on the pulse of what's actually going on. Let's take a look at the 20K sales, not bad. Let's take a look at what else we got going on here. So now that we understand return policies, the last thing is that there was a change to the user agreement. Okay, there was one line that was changed, and I want you to know I'm the guy who sat there with both of the user agreements side by side and scrolled through every single line until I found some variants. And this is to finally put the nail in the coffin regarding where eBay stands on taxes. So I learned recently most of you don't pay taxes. And we're not gonna go deep into that, but for those of you who do, okay, in any jurisdiction where eBay has an obligation to collect sales taxes on sales you make using eBay services, which is all of eBay services, we may collect such sales taxes from you via the payment method on file under the terms of the billing agreement, or via any other means available to us. Okay, so what does that mean? That means if you have a PayPal account, if you have your bank account, if you have a card that you use to make a purchase on eBay, if they have access and means to be able to collect the money that you owe them for taxes, they are allowed to take that money per the brand new user agreement that's rolling out very, very soon. Okay, I might have even been the beginning of the month, the beginning of last month, the beginning of next month. So be mindful of that. Okay, guys. Roger says pay those taxes. Yeah, I can't even say that legally. I can't say that. Nothing that we say here is tax advice. This should be constituted as entertainment only. Okay, but I tell people be responsible with what you're doing. I frankly don't care if you pay. Okay, that's none of my concern. Do good business. That's all I ask. Take care of your customers. Undersell, over-deliver, and then enjoy what you're doing, okay? On top of that, I had like one other tidbit. Seller fees don't purchase exclusive rights to item exposure on eBay. Now, Roger, when I read that, I immediately thought of you. Because those of you who don't know, Roger, he has a lot of brands under his belt. He does a lot of e-com stuff. He sells more stuff than I think a good handful of us would expect, for Roger to be moving. It's a quantity amount of stuff. But it says seller fees don't purchase exclusive rights to item exposure on eBay, whether on web page, mobile app, or otherwise. We may display third-party advertisements, including links and references thereto, or other content in any part of our services. It's our sole discretion and without consent from or payment fee reduction or other credit to sellers. So eBay is basically saying, we have the power to either show or not show your listing. Well, that's our choice. Okay, you're not guaranteeing that your listing is going to be seen just because you gave us money. So this kind of lends itself back to the discussion we had regarding Google. Those of you who missed the coverage for eBay Open, please, for the love of God, go back and watch my stuff. Okay, it's so important that you do. And I even had somebody mention within the group, that I was getting a little bit too advanced on certain things. And I want this show to be for everyone. But I can only explain certain things so many times before there's a certain level of responsibility for those new people here to go back and start digesting some of the old content so we're all on the same page together. So please go back and watch that content. But this is what I was talking about regarding Google. eBay is only going to serve good listings to Google, and then Google is only going to choose to display good listings from eBay onto Google Shopping and their associative tabs. So make sure your listings look good, or you're giving eBay permission to charge you for that listing and then not display it. Okay. And on top of that, when you make a new listing, 30 days isn't guaranteed. It can take a day, 2 days, 3 days for your listing to fully process through the system, and they're not guaranteeing you 30 days when you run a listing. Okay. So if you haven't done so, okay, subscribe to the channel, go back and watch some of that content. There's quite a bit of it to go see. Let's take a look at some of these. Donna Cherry, welcome to the chat. Donna Lockwood, good to see you. I hope you're well. Let's take a look at all this. But on the preference pages regarding taxes, there is no checkbox available to click for the taxes that eBay collects. So they automatically collect them. So you're going to have to go in and you're going to have to take a look at your tax table. Now, eBay is currently omitting taxes from a handful of states. I can't tell you how many because, frankly, it changes each week. Okay, they're adding more on as quickly as they can, and as other states are making their laws and policies regarding how much tax they want to charge people, whether it's in the current or in the retroactive sense. So you are responsible as a seller for your own tax tables. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a state at random. Let's say Missouri, okay, does not have tax laws set up as of today. You are not required to admit anything. Now, if Missouri all of a sudden says, hey, we want a 10% tax to be charged on items that are being purchased from people who live here, it would be your responsibility to adjust your tax table accordingly to be able to collect for that state. Now, in the time in between, this is where we have a lot of problems because eBay could come to the table and say, hey, we're going to take care of Missouri, but we're not going to start emitting taxes until January 1. Okay. And they have some states that are pushed out right now that they know they're going to be emitting, but they're not done yet. Okay. And in those instances, you are responsible for those taxes. So there's going to be a lot of people at the end of this year who are going to say, well, I did my tax table. I listened to eBay, the things that they charged me for. I understand, that they're collecting the taxes. And then they're going to look back and they're going to say, oh, crud, I sold, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 worth of products to states where I was supposed to be collecting taxes and didn't. And then you are going to have to come out of pocket to pay for those taxes that you owe. Because just because you don't charge them does not mean that you don't owe them. Now, with this being said, it is important, I must stress this, speak with your CPA, okay? Speak with a tax professional. eBay recommends to people at TaxJar. I've had good experiences speaking with them as well, but I strongly recommend you speak with them. If you still want extra clarity on this topic, I'm legally only allowed to go so far down this rabbit hole. I strongly recommend you contact eBay for Business. If you're fortunate enough to have a concierge representative, I'd recommend contacting them, but try and get on the line with somebody domestic, okay? And preferably somebody who knows taxes well. Now, if you call in and you ask to speak about taxes, there's probably a good chance they're going to find somebody American for you to speak with because it is such a complicated topic. And I don't want to sound condescending to our international representatives, but the verbiage and understanding of topics that are this heavy might elude them simply because of the fact that there's such a heavy language barrier for them as well. And yes, Pam, tell everyone to smash that like button. And Donna, don't be afraid to reach out to me. We've covered taxes on eBay in previous episodes, and I can try and find you the episode that you are looking for. Anna Marie Lubo says, is there any possibility that ad blocker can suppress promoted listings with no more second listing exposure? Your listing becomes moot. Yes. And I commend you for using a word that most people don't use. I love fancy diction. So moot basically means that there's just nothing else to speak on that topic. For those of you who don't know, so ad blockers, if you're using an ad blocker and you're watching my video, I want to let you know that unless you're a patron, we receive no benefit here. We only receive revenue when people actually play the video with ads on, or they donate Super Chat, or they donate via Patreon. So don't use the ad blocker when you're watching my stuff, please. Okay, it negatively impacts our channel. But beyond that, the way that promoted listings are being displayed within eBay, we call them inline ads. So what that means is that because they are not overlaying, because they are not a sidebar using a third-party link or an extension link on the side, AdBlocker is unable to detect those promoted listings as they are built in line with the rest of the listings on the page. Now, if it was like an external thing where they were using external coding or using lines of code to pull that across and, have them come in there, then that might be a thing. And Aaron, thank you for your YouTube Premium. Did you know you get $2 worth of super chats every single month and you can send those to me? That comes with your YouTube Premium. I am not kidding you. Okay. And I noticed over the last month, I made $9.62 in YouTube Premium ad revenue. So those of you who are watching, who have YouTube Premium, thank you for that. Here, I'm going to turn a fan on real quick, guys. This is a thick shirt. It is hot in here. Okay. Let me see if Daniel can move the air down to 78 for me. I'll ask him real quick. I put air 78, question mark. Moot also means it's subject to debate. Very circular. Does it really? I had no clue. I have never heard that definition before. We're going to learn something new together, guys. Subject to debate, dispute, or uncertainty. Having little or no practical relevance, typically because the subject is too uncertain to allow a decision. Okay. I learned something new. Thank you for that clarity, Brandy. Moot means that it's subject for debate. I thought that meant like that the point was exhausted and there's no more room for debate. So I learned something new. I apologize on that one. Donna Cherry, thank you so much for the $2 super chat and the happy birthday wishes. Yeah, those of you who don't know, I had my birthday on Wednesday, I think. It was September 5th, and we're going to talk a little bit about that here in just 1 second. We're going to be switching topics, and we're going to be talking about that. So let me take a look at some of these comments real quick, because you guys are awesome. It was supposed to be 20. Oh my God. I will not stop you from sending another 18. But we also, I forgot to mention this. If you guys want to really make it count, you guys can send it to here, and then I will receive the full amount. If you send it to YouTube, I think I got like 75% of it, and that's just, processing fees and the way they work and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for that in advance as well if you do send over any more. Let me take a look at some of these comments really quick. So basically, like Etsy or Shopify SEO or keywords are not nearly as important as self-marketing through IG, FB, etc. Good to know. So let's talk a little bit more about how these advertisements or how promoted listings works and how it's changing. So the biggest thing with promoted listings is we were able to historically talk about and say, hey, if you're going to do promoted listings, just do 1%. Because why? It's the minimum amount you could do, and you're doubling the number of exposures you get. So on a category where it's a very, very fine amount of listings, okay? Let's say you are specifically looking for sunglasses that have a built-in gold crown that also have jewels on top, okay? So if that's what you're looking for, and you search on eBay, and you manage to find them, and there's only maybe 10 listings on there, and you decide, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do the promoted on that, what ends up happening is you actually get 2 placements within 11 listings instead of 1 placement within 10. So you're doubling the amount of reach that you get on that listing for 1%. It was totally worth it. Now, moving forward, eBay decided, as of this update, that we are no longer going to be displaying both. We're not going to display 2 listings anymore. And they said that it is going to be up to eBay to decide which ones are going to be showing. Let's go ahead and pause and give a massive thank you to the one and only Donna with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Donna. That is so sweet of you. And I am totally going to buy unnecessary things with that money. Now, you know what I'm actually going to be doing? So next week, I have the Collecticon. And because of that, I will not be doing a show. But, I will have something coming out on Sunday. And I haven't decided what yet, but we might be doing a very extended something. It might be a long-form interview. We might be talking with a couple of people. It might just be me rambling. I have no clue yet, but something will come out on Sunday because that's what we do, because I'll be at a collector's conference or Collecticon selling and making money. And if you want a live feed from there, I can set up the camera and I can do a live feed as well. We can have a little bit of fun. You guys can see how I'm like when I'm selling and having a good time doing that. Okay, but something will be there for you. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so with promoted listings, now they're saying we're only going to show one. You'll never see your listing showing up twice within the same thing. So with that, eBay is going to be deciding, do we want to show the one where we make money, the promoted one, or do we want to show the regular one? Now, if they show the regular one, they only make the normal amount of money. If they show the promoted one, they get their normal amount, plus they get extra money. Okay, which one do you think eBay is going to show? What is their motivation to show them? And then on top of that, if you haven't noticed, search is garbage right now. Price plus shipping lowest first, buy it now format. Everything's just all screwed up. And it's because they've given slots 3, 4, 8, 12 priority placement for sponsored and promoted listings, which means if I have like a whole line of glasses available for sale, okay, item number 4 in the display is going to show up promoted, which means it's not going to be in line with the pricing. Okay, so if you see that and it's out of place, that's what's going on right now. $5 super chat from Debbie Does Sales. That's what she says. And there will be more to your other account, Jay. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for your support of my recent research video. It means a lot to me. Now, I don't want to go deep into it, but if you haven't checked it out yet, maybe go take a look at Debbie Does Sales channel. She's doing some interesting stuff right now within the reseller community. It's weird too, because I've been called out as a charlatan a few times before, and I believe I'm using the word correctly. I know Brandy will have my back if I'm not. But you may want to check it out because it's important stuff, some of the stuff that I can't always talk about on air, but it's good to see that there is a discussion happening on certain things right now. And thank you so much to you for that, Debbie. Let me take a look here. Okay. We got those pictures on pause right now. So I hope that offered some clarity regarding promoted listings. Now, me, myself, I won't be using it anymore. At this point, now that I'm not going to be getting 2 exposures for the small price of 1%, I really have no motivation to ever use the service ever again. I just don't see the purpose of it. So let's see what's going on. What's wrong is I filter search to US only, but overseas promoted listings still clog up results, wasting my time. Yep. And Aaron, that's not a horrible idea. And I don't think it would be a difficult script to run either, because it would just have to detect where it says promoted on the page, which wouldn't be a hard thing to do, then pull the code for that specific listing, and then basically delete it and then redisplay the page. So you might want to get with Craig on that, because I know you guys are both smart on the back-end coding tech end of things. There might be a way that we could actually disable ads, not only ads, but disable promoted listings on eBay within a browser plugin. And I'll be frank, I'd be willing to pay for that, because the way that I use eBay, doing research on items, trying to find the value of items or pricing items that I'm going to be selling locally, those promoted listings, they cost me time. And I would gladly pay, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 bucks for a plugin that could hide all promoted, or even possibly, I don't know how heavy the script would be, but if I could hide all foreign listings too, that'd be really, really nice. Like any listing that says ships from outside the US, which I just hate. So the last bit of things regarding the seller update, guys, is they talked about how they can scan your emails. Okay. I get asked this a lot. People ask me, Jay, how can I communicate with somebody outside of eBay without eBay catching me? Okay. I'm going to tell you how to do this right now. This is something that I was going to put inside of a little paid program, but you guys have been so generous, and when you are, I like to give you a little bit more. The best way to do this is to create a business page on Facebook. Okay, you can name it whatever the heck you want. You can name it, Jay's Emporium of Flowers and Deluxe Mercantile Factory. Okay, name it whatever the heck you want. Okay, and then when somebody messages you about an item and you want to converse with them off site, and they ask you, like, hey, could you do $400 on this when it's like a $500 item? You say, you know what, I can't personally do that, but I do know of a shop on Facebook. Their name is Jay's Emporium of, wholesale goods and mercantile. You may want to consider sending them a message. They might be able to do that for you. And then poof, 3 minutes later, there's a message to your inbox of the business page that you own. Obviously, don't make it so obvious. Make it a little more ambiguous. Now you have a message to your inbound business page, and the business page costs nothing, guys. It's completely free. And they message you and say, hey, thanks for messaging me. I just wanted to get in touch with you directly. I'll be happy to do $400. I'll probably do a private invoice. If you want to pay the invoice fees, that's fine too. Okay, because you're saving the consumer 10%, or you're saving yourself 10%, so maybe $50, and you want to pass on a deal. You want to give them $50 off, but you don't want to give them $100 off. Whatever you want to do, however you want to phrase it, whatever the heck you want to do, that's how you can get around that as well. Obviously, I'm not encouraging anyone to violate terms of service. You can add your phone number to your eBay account now, as far as a business account, but trust me, they monitor the back end. Okay, so if somebody contacts you and they request your contact information online, and then within an hour or 2 hours of the item that they followed you through to, that item gets delisted off of eBay, you better believe eBay is going to investigate the matter, okay, and possibly suspend your account or charge you the final value fees on that item as well, which they have the rights to do. Keep that stuff in mind, guys. Oh man, what a day. What a day. Let me scroll through some of my notes here. Guys, did anyone else get any cake? Okay, those of you who didn't know, we're having a little birthday celebration. I'm going to pause and have a little bit of cake. I want to give a huge thank you to Susan. She gave me this delicious cake earlier in the week. I had a small taste of the frosting. And Donna, thank you so much for the $20 to my PayPal. I really, really do appreciate that. That is super, super generous of you. It's going to go to a good cause. What I'm going to be doing, like I said, I have the convention this Sunday, and then I plan to take a little bit of personal time throughout the week. I have been going so hard lately to be able to keep everything running, to get everything ready for this con. I'm still getting caught up on back listings for the estate sale, and then been trying to source. It's been a bit too much, to say the least. It's been a very, very heavy workload, but I know it's everything has to get done. So let me pull up some of these pictures really quick so I can share these with you. Let me pull up the right folder. Give me 1 second, guys. So Susan, who is a lovely person, got me this beautiful cake, which I'm going to be having some of right now. Okay. While I talk with you about my birthday festive. So me and her, we sat down with this wonderful woman that I've been seeing, Emily. We sat down and we had some dinner together after we did a little bit of thrifting. If you guys remember last week, I had, and this is the first time I think I've ever eaten on air on my show anyways. Not bad at all. So last week I had those little Beanie Baby tags. And then after that, we sat down with Susan. We had dinner at this Oriental restaurant off Blackstone in Fresno. Restaurant. Great experience, though, however. And then for my actual birthday, because we did that a little bit earlier in the week, I ended up going downtown here in my own town. And again, the woman that I had been seeing, her name's Emily, she had asked what I would want to do for my birthday. And I told her I have 3 goals in mind for my birthday. I'm like, 1, I want to see things that I've never seen before, which means a little bit of urban exploring. 2, what's the second one? Give me 1 second. Let me drink some coffee while I'm brain farting. I can't even remember now. It's been a long day. I remember number 3. Oh yeah, number 2. Meet new people and be a positive impact on their day. And number 3 was to do good things for other people. And I believe I was able to accomplish all 3 of those goals in this one day, which was really, really great. So we ended up going downtown and we did some exploring, because in this town, for some reason, Google Maps seems like some type of far-fetched illusion, and people cannot figure out how to do it, how to sign up for it, how to make it work, all that good stuff. Let me see if we got this working. There we go. So people cannot figure out how to use it, how to make it work. So you go downtown and you see all these stores that do not exist online. And you're just literally walking from one storefront to the next, and you're not sure what you're going to be able to see. I ended up finding a toy store that had an absolute, here, let me see if I can turn this, absolute ton of pop figures inside of it. And this place was loaded up with all kinds of other goodies too. And then even beyond that, I went and had this really great lunch. I don't know if you've ever had like a steak sandwich with aioli on it before. It was so pretentious, but it was absolutely delicious. And then we went to and visited this really wild antique store, and I'm going to show you guys a bunch of different pictures from there. This one shows a really cool rickshaw in the background, whole bunch of oriental themed collectibles. I saw this really cool Scotty dog, and we posted some of these pictures up online in the group as well, but I didn't post them all up. Look at this piece of absolutely gorgeous cabinetry. That was a $39,000 piece of furniture is what he was asking on that. And I apologize that I couldn't get these loaded onto the actual screen in time. But yeah, some really cool stained glass stuff that we saw. Those of you who like cookie jars, it was Cookie Jar Central there. Absolutely great stuff there. What else do we see? Guys, look at these cast iron or wrought iron gates. Those gates were, I think, $19,000 or $29,000 a pair. But they're massive. Keep in mind that balcony you're seeing is the second story. That's how tall those are. Absolutely amazing stuff. I've added a local shop to Google Maps. Yep, it happens all the time. This is the image that we posted up online. And online it's not the highest of resolution, but if you want the actual, this is the same picture. I'm going to zoom in for you so you can see how high resolution the original is. But it's full of detail the whole way through. So if you want that high res sent to you, just let me know and you can dig around on there as well. And then this lamp. Oh God, I fell in love with this lamp, but I wasn't going to buy it in the condition that it was in. It was a little bit distorted. If you come across this lamp, I'll be happy to give you $200, maybe $3 if it's pristine. Gorgeous lamp. It's some type of really dark, rich wood, and that's a woman, naked woman laid across the top on it. Let me see. I don't have a better shot of it, but yeah, absolutely gorgeous lamp. So if you ever come across one, let me know. And then check out this guy's cash register. That was so cool to see. And he actually uses that too. Now, the guy who was running this place, he was like 65 years old. Yeah, ebony is what I was thinking it was. And that stained glass is amazing. Now, the guy who's running this place, he was about 65 years old. And I'll be honest, that shop had like $3 to $5 million worth of inventory. Guys, cake break really quick. Amanda, have a great one. We'll talk soon. Yeah, and the lamp is something else. Hello to you, Joe. But yeah, so that's what I did with the birthday. Did a ton of exploring. Had a ton of fun. Really got a chance to relax, enjoy myself. And just kind of taking it a little bit easy. So, guys, like I said, tonight's show is going to be a little bit of a short one, but I want to finish up with a little bit of story time. Oh, wait, I forgot. We have all of our pickups on the week. I forgot to show the items. I know some of you guys are waiting for that. Let's have a little bit more fun, and I'll have a little more cake here in a minute. But let's take a look at some items. Get down to ground level again. Who is excited? Because I am excited. So, I tried so hard this week to make money, and it was almost impossible. I don't know what happened. Yard sale season ended on me in a hurry. Really quickly. I didn't realize how good things were at the beginning of summer and how quickly they turned to garbage by the end of the summer. Because the people who are the first ones out and set up for the yard sale, they've been itching to have that yard sale. Maybe they moved. Maybe they're planning on moving. Maybe they've been waiting all winter and they're resellers and they're trying to push off some of their old inventory. Back to school group too. So the beginning of summer, I was killing the yard sale game, finding all kinds of goodies everywhere I went. Last weekend, yesterday, I went out for over 2 hours. I bought 0 items. I was floored with how bad things had gotten. Not only was I dealing with so many old signs driving me in the wrong direction, I must have burned 20 miles worth of gas chasing down some of these signs that led to nowhere. Going to yard sales that had nothing but leftovers from the last 4 weeks that they were running yard sales, or constantly running into people selling Amazon goods because right now the fairgrounds is going to be closing up their swap meet setup because the fair is actually coming to town. So I was finding so much trash when I went out there that it was worthless. I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. And then I ended up going to the swap meet on Saturday. But today, me and Daniel went and visited the indoor swap meet. Very, very excited about going and checking that out. And it was closed. Even though they didn't make an announcement online, they didn't make an announcement on their Google map. And I told Daniel, I'm like, hey, everything happens for a reason. And he's one of those people, he doesn't subscribe to that thinking. He thinks it's foolish. He says that there's no such thing as thinking that way. You know, the no amount of positivity is going to change what's going to happen to you. It's just luck. And I ask him, I'm like, well, how many times in a row can you be lucky in life before it's just not luck anymore? You know, because I mean, at some point, if somebody's exceptionally unlucky, you would say, you know, that's just how that person's life might be going. But I consider myself a very optimistic person. I don't want to say like I will things into existence, but it takes just as much energy to be happy as it does to be sad. So, I mean, given the two choices, why not be happy? Why not expect good things to come to you? So, on the way back, I said, hey, you know, we got there. We got all the information we needed from that place. They may have been closed, but we only know 2 out of the 40 or so vendors are selling used items, which is pretty much what we go after. The rest of it's people selling socks and tools and other, you know, new stuff from LA, which we have no need or no interest in. And I said, you know, hey, maybe we'll find a yard sale on the way home and we'll get a little bit lucky, even though yesterday's yard selling was trash. So we start heading home, okay, and we find a yard sale. And lo and behold, I actually get some good stuff. Now, I've never, ever purchased within this space before, at least not to my knowledge. But look what I picked up. I picked up a Wagner, I think it's a Wagner Wide Shot Max. Now, normally, I don't buy open box, okay? But this is eBay open box. Everything in here is still in its original packaging, okay? The guy basically said it was opened up, looked at, never used, and then here it sits. All of the stuff in its original bagging, all of the little bits right where they're supposed to be, the exact same way that it was packed, okay? This is a clean 110, maybe even as much as 120, given how it looks on eBay. Holy cow. Guess how much I paid, guys? $12. And odds are I'm going to ship this bad boy raw. I'm just going to cover it in some craft paper, ship it exactly as it sits, and you know what I do too? Even when I do that, I put in the listings, this item will be shipped raw. Do not expect a good looking box. If you want a good box, buy it from somebody else. And I'll put that in my listings, okay? I'm not here to sell you a good box. If you want great contents, okay, the same way that the manufacturer would ship you one, I'll ship it to you that way, and that's how you'll get it. So sometimes on those situations when you have a nice box, just use the box, okay? And if you need something to lean back on and you don't want to sound like an absolute knob, just tell them, we're environmentalists here, okay? We don't want to waste more cardboard, more plastic, more material than we actually need to, so we're going to ship it to you. We call it raw. I'll ship it to you raw. Pam, happy to hear that you got clear skies out there. You are so right, Jay. I needed to hear that. Hear what? What did I say? I have no clue what you're talking about. Key Webco, we make our own luck from the good things we create. You know what I tell people about luck? And I don't want to sound too salesman-y, but the salesman saying is that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Okay, if you are prepared to take advantage of a specific situation when it comes your way, or when that opportunity comes your way, that's what actually creates luck. So by preparing yourself for most situations, whether that means having good finances on hand, securing your own personal well-being, maintaining your health, going to the gym, actually exercising, eating well, those things, if you put yourself in a position to be successful in life and to be able to take advantage of successful opportunities that come your way, yeah, overall, you're going to have a much, much better life, okay? And today, I was so slammed. And I even told Daniel, I'm like, Daniel, I can only leave the house for an hour today. I simply can't do more than that because of the amount of work that I have to do. And Pam staying positive. Pam, it's so important to stay positive. So important. Jay Miller says, contractor grade trash bags 3 mil are great for wrapping large boxes. It's actually not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I have these jumbo, I think they're 20 by 20 inch or 18 by 18 inch poly bags that I will use sometimes. But if I have the opportunity to use craft paper, I'll use craft paper over plastic. Just because it's a little more biodegradable. And it's just I don't know. I can get things a little bit cleaner when they're inside of craft paper, folded down and taped off, than I can with a giant baggie. So, but trust me when I say this. I get the angle that you're coming from for sure. Now, at this yard sale, you would think that might be all that I got, but I didn't. I also picked this up. This appears to be new. It might be. No, this is used. This is a charging station, but I also got it with this controller. I actually needed another 360 controller. This is one of the mid styles, mid to newish type styles. And whenever you're buying these, especially if you're buying them for yourself, these 360 controller joysticks, they have knobs on them. You can see little textured knobs. If the knobs are completely worn off, don't buy the thing, okay? Knobs worn off generally means like 80 to 100 plus hours worth of play. If the knobs are still nice and crisp and tall, it's probably only got, 5-10 hours worth of play on it. It's most likely going to be working, going to be fine. Little tip, you go and take that and shove that in your pocket and you enjoy it. All the buttons should be clicky and responsive. Everything should feel good. Nothing should stick. Make sure your joysticks move freely, not too freely. You don't want them wobbling. If you shake it and you can see that they're moving on their own, which they're not here. The progressive scan might make it look like it is, but they're not moving on their own, then you probably got a good controller on your hands. But I was able to get the pair together, $10. And even $10 on a newish controller is a screaming deal for Xbox 360. Roger, we can't let that comment through. I apologize. YouTube's been very strict on my account lately. While I was there too, I don't know, that's worth 25, maybe $30. I also picked these up too. I picked up 2 brand new sealed video games. Okay. What's really crazy is this one has an Amazon label on it. And Daniel even asked, he's like, why would somebody recall an item like this? Because I paid $2 for this, and the Amazon list price for this is $60. Okay. Easy money. Okay. And I told him, I'm like, well, sometimes people close their stores down, they recall everything. Or sometimes people have such large stores that when they, have their returns come in or they do disposal, or Amazon might temporarily say, hey, you're not allowed to sell these types of items. They just kick them out and they don't even care because they're moving that amount of volume. Okay. So, and Pam, you don't have to know much. This game is brand new and sealed, which means I hit it with a barcode scanner. This game was brand new and sealed. Okay. Which meant I hit it with the barcode scanner. This one is a $33 on Amazon, $27 take home. This one's like a $51 or $52 take home. I paid $2 on these ones. And I'm going to say this right now. I swear to God, if any of you spoil this movie for me, I will permanently ban you from my channel. No Country for Old Men. I picked this up for $2. Very, very excited about watching this on Blu-ray. Great price to get a Blu-ray for $2, honestly. And I'll throw it on the shelf of things that I'll be watching here shortly. And while I'm here, I just want to say, guys, this movie is absolutely wild. It's one of my favorite movies, okay? Brandy, watch yourself. But no, I'm kidding. I adore you. But yeah, watch this movie. Absolutely amazing movie. If you're an adult, of course. This is very, very graphic in certain contexts. Okay, never seen it. I have at least 10 consoles I'm going to try and test tonight to post. Joe, have fun with that. And I'll be honest, if you have a variety of different consoles and you plan on staying within video games for a good amount of time, I would recommend keeping one of each if you plan on getting a lot of video games, because most consoles are only moving vertical right now. A lot of the lowest ones have leveled out. Xbox 360, PS3, Wii's are essentially as cheap as they're ever going to be. So if you need to get one for testing purposes, it's not a bad investment to pay $10, $15, $20, $30 for a used one off Craigslist, because you'll be able to test hundreds of dollars of games with each one of them. Now, other consoles that are moving vertically would be like your Nintendo, your Super Nintendo, original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Sega Genesis consoles. Those are all moving upward right now. So even buying one of those at retail and camping on it, using it for testing purposes, and eventually flipping it back out at retail isn't a horrible idea either. So, keep that in mind. Let me take a look at some of these comments. It is awesome. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to watching it. I felt like I had something to say and it completely eluded me right now. Anyhoozle, next item, guys. So when I was out doing my little thrifting majig, I picked up 2 items when I was on my birthday. I picked up 2 different items while I was out. Very, very, very few things were really viable And you know, I wasn't really trying that hard. I was just kind of going for the experience of going. I picked up a Brother toner. I paid 100 pennies for it. It was a great deal. And this is, I don't know, $30 on Amazon. It's another one of those dumb Amazon items that, you know, all the resellers overlook. They don't stop and scan toner boxes, but there's so much money to be made on them. And then I also picked up this. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little excited about this one because it is a cola collectible, and I have never in my life even heard of this variation. And I don't mean to like hype up the item or anything, but let me know, have you ever seen Pepsi free? Ever? 99% caffeine free cola, Pepsi free. I've never seen these before. And what's real wild about this is we have we have 5 of the 6 bottles. And I haven't even dug these out yet. Okay, we also have 2 bottle caps down at the bottom. And these bottle caps is what made it very, very enticing for me. I've never, ever seen this variation with the caps. And I even looked online. I don't think I saw any caps online either. So 5 bottles. We have the tray, the flat pack tray, which I've never seen online either. And you guys can go look on Terapeak. But I can tell you these bottles are worth about $20 to $25 each on their own. I think I'm going to get $100 to $150 for this bad boy. I paid $16 in total. Great little buy. All the bottles are in great shape. And you know what? I might even wash them out too. I might, soak them, scrub out the interiors, hit them with a little bit of alcohol, and then let them dry out and send them out the door. Joe is thirsty for some Pepsi free. You guys want to see something kind of cool? We got one more bin of items. So I went to the swap meet after that failed day of yard selling on Saturday. It was one of the worst days of yard selling I've had in probably a year. And I said, you know what, screw it, we're going to go to the swap meet. I went to the swap meet and it was dead there too. There was maybe 25% of the vendors that are normally set up for the day. And they told me that, yeah, everyone comes on Friday night now. Friday night, 7 p.m., that's when people come down here. And I'll probably do a live stream from there at some point on the Facebook group, so go get plugged in if you want to see that. But I walked through all the stalls. Not only did I not see anyone I know, I almost always run into people I know, stop and have good conversation. I was probably about 85% of the way through the swap meet before I even found anything to buy. Keep in mind, I've been working for 3.5 hours at this point and had nothing. And then out of nowhere, out of the blue, I stumble into the most expensive Walkman, the most expensive cassette recorder of any type, or cassette player of any type that I've ever had in my entire reselling career. This thing is beautiful. This is a Sony WM-530. Look at this gorgeous, gorgeous Walkman. Now, those of you who don't know, this is a very high-end model for Sony Walkmans. This is almost like the Rolls-Royce for Sony. The last time this Walkman sold on eBay, it sold for $230. And the one that's available currently is about $250 or $260. Gorgeous, gorgeous piece. I plan on doing restoration on this, and if you want, I'll do some before and after. But just so you can get an idea of how nice this is, look at how you get to the battery compartment. You slide the whole thing open. There's your battery bay right in there, and then the whole thing slides back together again. But just gorgeous, gorgeous piece. But I'm probably gonna do a full teardown, clean out all the tracks, make sure everything's up and running, and then do a restoration on the front. I only advise you do that if you know what you're doing. But yeah, great. Look at it. Look at the coloring and the design. When this first came out, this one was probably running about $100, maybe even $150 at launch for something this nice. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That is gorgeous. It's the first time I've opened it. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit excited about this piece. What year is this Walkman from? This Walkman is from a unknown year. Yeah, it does not have a year on the the sticker on the back. But I do hear there is a site. I'm going to have to check on the name. I believe it's called Google. Correct me if I got the pronunciation wrong. They might be able to get you that information that you're looking for. Unfortunately, I don't have it, or I'd help you. I picked up a couple of pieces of like kind of crummy art for the house. I only paid $2 each for these. I got this one because it reminded me of the video game Catherine. If you guys out there who know what I'm talking about, then you'll kind of get the reference. Otherwise, you won't. But at $2, I can't complain. It still has gift wrap on it from the person who received it as a gift. And then I also picked up this one specifically for the Collecticon. This is the We're All Mad here, a little Mad Hatter thing going on. And this is just going to have to be cleaned up a little bit around the edges. It'll take all of 30 or 45 seconds to get this cleaned up. I paid $2 on that one too. I'll probably get $8 or $10 for it at the con. It's one of those things. I was already there, so screw it. Why not get it? Now, the items that I'm going to be showing you now are from maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I just simply haven't had time to showcase them. I got this really cute fox backpack. If it's not worth anything online, again, this will go with me to the con. People at some of the people at these cons are really big into animal culture, and they like stuff like foxes and other furry animals. So something like this may actually do well out there, even though it's used. I could get 10, maybe even $15 for it out there. I paid $1 for it. I love getting certain dollar items just because it's easy to work with. We have one of these, was it the 10th anniversary bass fishing? It's a Radical one. Now, there is a new one that just came out from Walmart. It looks just like this, but it doesn't say Radica. But it looks almost identical. It's an off-brand one. Avoid them with the plague. They're only worth like $6 online. This one used, I believe, is anywhere between 30 and $40 on Amazon. Great little pickup. What's going on right now? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at side chat over there. Key Webco says, best I could find, lowest price was $160, not the same grade. Yep. Donna, I will be doing both. I will be walking the floor looking for things to buy, and then we also have, count them, 4 booths set up that we're going to be setting up that I am going to be overseeing. So I have the one that I'm going to be doing myself, and we have all 4 booths under my name. We have my booth. Daniel's going to have a setup out there. Susan's going to have a setup out there. Those of you who don't know, Susan owned a traditional brick and mortar for years. She was very successful, so she has a bunch of quality stock she's going to be bringing out there. And then I also represent an artist by the name of Ed Gragg. Definitely check out his stuff, too. We have a web store. I'm just going to type in his name real quick, but you can type that into eBay, and you can see some of his artwork. Any of the artwork that you order from him gets produced and then shipped out from here to you. So if you're into fantasy, if you're into pinup, if you're into, those types of art, erotica art, then I would recommend checking out the store. And if you would like a discount through here, a Patreon discount or something, or just a friend discount, let me know. I can shoot you a discount on there as well. But it all gets fired out from here. I have a bag of books. Yes, hold on. The backpack's new. We're 40. That's good to know. So I picked up a whole bunch of C.S. Lewis books. Again, these are one of those things that they're really, really cool to have, really, really cool to see. I just love the artwork on some of these things. I could even take these out to the con, too, if I want. People buy this stuff all the time because they connect with it. They saw it when they were a kid, but I'm obviously going to do due diligence. I'm going to check them against Amazon, see if they're worth anything on there before I do the rest. And then this one I got just because of the cover art. I want you to imagine today a book coming out with this cover art. That's going to demonetize me too. I know it already. But look at that bad boy. That is so, so groovy. The Golden Goose by Ellery Queen. But yeah, I picked those up. And then I also picked up a Pendragon. I picked up one of these. I've seen these worth something before. I haven't looked it up recently. It looks like a library edition of the book as well. So, I don't know. And then with the rest of this bag, this is the weirdest lot I think I've gotten in a long time. They didn't know how much they wanted for this, and this was like an FU moment for her husband, because her husband looked at her and said, no one's going to want to buy that. Don't even put it out at the yard sale. And she listened to him. She didn't put it out. And I always tell people this. When you're at a yard sale, if you have not asked the person for an item that you specialize in before you leave that yard sale, you are not doing your job. Okay, what do I ask for? I specialize in video games and mixed media. So before I leave any yard sale, hey, you guys wouldn't happen to have any like old video games lying around, maybe some stuff the kids or the grandkids might have left behind, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, like the handheld ones even, handheld electronics, anything like that? And 1 out of every maybe 20 will give me a yes. And they'll go inside and they'll find something. And this lady, she said, well, as a matter of fact, we have some computer stuff. Is that okay? Computer stuff is great. Let me see what you got. And she brings out this bag and she's like, my husband told me to like not even bring this out and just take it to the store, the Goodwill store, because no one's going to buy it off of me. And I said, well, there's a small chance that I might. So what does she bring over? I haven't even pulled all of this out yet because it's a disgusting amount. I'm just going to show it to you like this. And then that's not all of it. There's more. Then I'm going to show it more like this. Okay. And what we're looking at is we're looking at a handful of sealed copies of MechWarrior. And there's 5 discs inside of here. Okay. So it's multiple expansions. Plus the manuals that go along with them. Okay. MechWarrior, Mech Commander, and everything. I think each one of these packs is going to be worth about $25, maybe even as much as $40 a piece for me because they are technically brand new. I just have to figure out what's inside one of these. I could probably even reshrink it after. But there's stacks of these. Okay, I'm not even being... Here, I'll separate some of these out so you guys can see. And I have matching manuals to go along. And they're all the same, too, which is going to be great because it's going to make my life infinitely easier to be able to list these. And I asked her, I said, how did you get all of these? Okay, and she said, well, there was something that used to belong to my son, and he's no longer here, and he said, yeah, just do whatever you want with him. He doesn't need him anymore. So I'm starting to think maybe he was part of the dev team or something with this product. And I got, I don't know, 15 sets in total. And I asked him, I'm like, how much do you want? And she's like, well, really anything. And I'm like, let me ask you this. Would $5 be enough to be able to rub it in your husband's face? And she's like, ha ha ha. And she started like busting up laughing. She's like, $5 would be great. And I tell people, if you hit people with positivity, you're going to get positivity back. Okay. You have to assume great things out of people. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. I'm going to make a note about that too. Positivity. You get what you give. Okay, and then while I was there, I also picked up a couple of these little toner bits. Okay, Brother is restricted on Amazon now. I'm still trying to get clearance on it, but these do fine on eBay. It's probably about another $20, $25 worth of toner. I paid $1/4 a piece for those. Okay, she said she didn't even want them. And Marie Lubo says, PC games. My husband just gave me the go-ahead to sell his entire collection of PC games, manuals, some boxes, going back before the original WoW. I'll be honest, older the better on a lot of this stuff, especially if you go back as far as Atari ST. I've been selling thousands of dollars worth of Atari ST this year. Nice wins. Thank you for that, Anna Marie. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with your name right now. I used to know a girl named Anne Marie, and it's kind of throwing me off. Yes, some may be special. And yes, MechWarrior is a heck of a game. Let's see what else we got. We only got a handful of items left, guys, but I'd be lying if I said I saved the best for last, because I clearly didn't. We have a copy of Super Monkey Ball for the DS, another quick $15. And what I like about video games is anyone can look them up at any time. It doesn't require any extra effort. We have our new Bolorama mascot, the Build-A-Bear basketball player. Isn't he adorable? I like the fact that his collar is still brand new. Nobody wrote on it. NBA jersey on. NBA isn't making bad press right now either, which is always good. But yeah, I don't know, $20 for that. I paid $1 for it. Oh, this is such a cute hat. This will probably end up going with me to the con. I'm just going to clean it up just the tiniest bit. But again, what we were talking about earlier, people who have a proclivity to like the animal lifestyle might really like this. I think these are called Laplanders. I think Roger would be the guy to ask about this. But yeah, these types of hats with the tassels on the side, yeah, super, super cute. Brand new, still has the original tag on it, which is really, really nice to see. I paid, I think 50 cents for this. But nice piece, good condition. Oh, it actually has a brand on the inside. It says the Collection Royale. Nice. With cheese. And we got 3 more items. I might actually keep this one. It's worth about $20. I don't know if you guys have ever seen one of these before. This is a metal mouse pad. Okay, it's got a little bit of a slick top on top of here. It's got a rubber matting on the backing. It's kind of like that stuff you use inside your kitchen drawers. And I picked this up in an estate sale. I think I paid half price on $4.50, so $2.25. I haven't even tried it out yet. I don't even know if I need one because it's very texturally. Oh man, that feels good on my wrist. Yeah, there's a good chance I'm going to keep this because I can rest it over the edge of my desk. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. So yeah, I think that's worth about $20. If you stumble across one, the sales velocity is very, very low, though. Keep that in mind. Knitters would go crazy for that. Sheep. Yeah, it's a super, super cute hat. And if you're a patron, you can buy it for what I bought it for. You can have it for $1. Those of you who don't know about Patreon, definitely go check it out. Patreon.com here. I'll put the link in the description. It's a great way to be able to support the show, be able to give back, keep us on air. You get some really cool perks too. You get group chat, you get all that stuff. You're going to get your name and lights in the outro and everything. We have our outro back finally. So definitely go check that out. I picked up another cool book, Grimm's Fairy Tale, the illustrated edition. The only downside with this one is it's been drawn in quite a bit, but I didn't know that at the time. And this is the same person who sold me those art books, so I didn't want to make a kerfuff about it after I'd already purchased it. Cool piece, though. I think I paid 50 cents for it, maybe $1. And then I've done surprisingly well with sealed vintage cards. And this is a copy of Phase 10. You can tell it's one of the older ones because of the font. Same company, Fundex. They've been making Phase 10 for, I want to say, 30 years now. But some people really like the old style of cards because of the way that the actual print is done on the interior, opposed to like the exterior packaging, because they did change card styles over time. I'm probably going to get anywhere between $20 and $40 for this one. And I've done so good with vintage cards. If you ever come across old card games that are brand new, especially in the blisters, or even brand new in smaller packaging, definitely go after them. Guys, that's it. That's all the items. We're gonna have a little bit of a talk though, and thank you to those who did stick around for the entirety of the show. I know some of you like to exit before I get on with my lesson of the week, and this week's one is going to be an interesting one, and I would really appreciate it if you stuck around for this one. Okay. So, last week, guys, we talked about improving the quality of your life through the very small things. The small things that you can do to make life easier over time. Maybe you need some new towels because you only own one, and you buy 2 or 3 and you can do laundry less often. It can make your life that much easier. Maybe you bought a shoehorn. I know some of you said that you're going to run out and get a shoehorn, but last week we talked about that, and I hope that some of you actually went that extra mile and did little things to improve your life. So, here in Bakersfield, next door to me, I have a very, very interesting neighbor. His name is, we'll call him Bill for the sake of this discussion. Bill is pushing roughly 55, maybe 60 years old, and he's a former Navy Reserve for 8 years, and he spent 24 years as a correctional officer as well. Now, for some reason or another, something happened between then and the Bill that I know now. And Bill isn't completely there. And I make it a point to give him all the time that he wants. He's talked to me about a lot of struggles that he's had in life. He's talked to me about neighbors who used to be friends to him and won't speak with him anymore. And I understand why some people are challenged when it comes to speaking with him. He no longer has the ability to understand social cues. He doesn't understand when he says things that make people uncomfortable. He doesn't understand when he talks about subjects that are off color. He's very much so lost in a lot of ways. But I feel it's important, especially for our veterans, to be able to give them time and give them quality of life and to sacrifice our time for other people's benefit. Because for you, in a rush and having things to do can be very, very important. But please don't lose sight of the fact that some people don't talk to anyone. They are in their house all day, and when they leave their house, they're really hoping to have a conversation with you. So my neighbor, he'll talk with me about all kinds of things, everything from a challenging upbringing to him not being the favorite child to other people accusing him of either being on drugs, or he's told me about people telling him that they thought he was retarded. And it's a challenging thing to hear. And he comes up to me yesterday as I water his yard across from my fence because there's a big patch that he simply doesn't water and it doesn't look great. And I've gone ahead and reseeded that part of his yard and I've been watering it for the last 2 weeks. He talks with me about things and he comes up to me yesterday and he says, you can't believe what just happened to me right now. And I apologize if I add my tone, or it's an endearing mimicking. It's not meant to be a disrespectful way, but he talks in a very breathy, very heavy way. And he says, "Oh, you can't believe what just happened to me." I'm like, "What's going on, Bill? What's the matter?" He's like, "I was just checking my mail, and this sheriff stuck his head out of his car, and he was looking at me." Like I was gonna steal somebody's mail, or I was gonna start a problem. I said, "Well, what makes you think that, Bill? Why do you feel so strongly that this person is looking to start a problem with you?" And he's like, I've just had problems with other people in the past before, other sheriffs." And he had some derogatory word that he used to describe deputies instead of a deputy. Yeah, something to that effect. Deputy? I can't remember what he used. And he was very passionate about this. And he had all this built-up anger and aggression within him still for somebody else that he imposed onto this person. And I talked with him and I said, there's often times in life where we'll have a situation occur and it's our own perception that determines how we handle that situation. Have you ever been in a texting conversation with somebody and you read something incorrectly, or maybe there was a typo that you deciphered the wrong way and you got upset for a moment? You got really fired up. And it wasn't until you got on the phone with them later, or it wasn't until you had a little bit more of a talk, that you were able to understand that your own negative perception changed the way that you read that text. Well, oftentimes for people, they'll take a situation that can be very benign and they'll add a very, very negative tone to it. And I looked at him and I said, "How are you sure that that's what he was thinking?" He was like, "Oh, I just know, just based on the way he was looking at me." I look at him and I said, "Hey, Bill, let me tell you something. I used to live on a street called Huntington Boulevard before I moved here 8 months ago. And on that street, I would walk up and down that street 5 days a week, 2 times a day. I would cover 4 miles on that street each day. And during my 1 year of doing that, okay, twice I looked around and I saw an older person and I helped them find their way back home. Okay? They were lost. And this happens sometimes. We run into people that have dementia or people who are a little bit confused, or maybe they just walked a little bit too far away. And it's very possible to think that that sheriff looked at you and maybe wanted to make sure you're okay. Maybe he thought that you might need assistance or there might be something wrong. Okay? Twice while I was walking on that street, I called 911 because I saw 2 different houses attempting to be broken into. And one time, I even jumped in the homeowner's car and helped him chase down the person that was attempting to break into his house for the 2nd time. And I explained that to him as well. Sometimes we have a vigilant eye open, not because we know there's something wrong, because we might think that there's something wrong. And then he goes on to tell me, he's like, "Well, I just know I'm going to run into him again. He's going to red light me." And I don't even know what that means, frankly. He says, "I just know that I'm going to have problems with him in the future, and this is just the start of something wrong, and I know that's what's going to happen." I looked at him as he continued to expand on this, and I point over to my car, my Kia that we're standing next to. I said, I said, "Bill, what is the possibility that my car is going to explode?" He smiles and he's a little bit taken aback. And I said, no, really, how likely is it that my car is going to explode right now? And he's like, well, what kind of explosion are we talking about? Are we talking like the engine's going to pop? I'm like, no. I'm like, we're talking about a devastating explosion that's going to level my house, your house, and take us both out. What are the odds that that's going to happen? He's like, well, it's really unlikely that that's going to happen. I said, yeah. So how much worry should we give it? So, well, you know, maybe a little bit. I'm like, no. I'm like, we shouldn't give it any worry, because the odds of it happening it's just simply, it's non-existent. Any amount of time I spend worrying about whether or not my car is going to explode is time that I could spend worrying about the people who care about me, the people who mean something to me, the ability to go and do something positive, not only in my life, but the life of others. Worry can be a very, very dangerous thing if not controlled correctly. And I told him, I said, Bill, call him Craig, whatever, he's not going to watch. Bill, he might watch actually. He asked about my show. Bill, I said, okay, don't allow these things to consume your day. Don't worry about these what ifs. Focus on the people and the things that matter to you the most. Okay? And then from here, I took him to another point. And I told him, I'm like, you have this anger and this frustration in you. And I want you guys to know this second part here is very much so inspired by Steven Crowder. And if you haven't watched this show, I strongly recommend it. He has this anger and this frustration within him. And I want you to do this with me too. This is something they did on the show. I want you right now to think about someone you don't like. Okay? I want you to think about somebody that pops into your head every now and then. And when they do, you have very strong negative emotions. Okay? It could be a family member. It could be somebody that maybe bullied you in school. It could be that kid that was more popular. It could be the person who took that job promotion from you. Or just that person who maybe tried to run you off the road. I watched a 9-year-old black girl this afternoon flip me off, okay, as I was driving down the street. Just looked over and gave me the finger real quick. And I just looked at that. I'm like, wow, okay? It could be any type of person that you are angry with when you think of. Get that person in your head right now, okay? You know what I want you to do? Forgive them. Right now. Just forgive them, okay? You don't need them to tell you that they're sorry. You don't need them to feel any level of expression of remorse or sorrow for what they've done or where they're at now. You don't need to know that they're experiencing pain for the pain that you have felt. Just forgive them. Because the moment that you forgive them is the moment that you no longer care about the pain and anguish and sorrow and resent that you have inside of you. Just forgive them. Because it doesn't really matter anymore. They don't care or know that you're upset with them. It probably doesn't bother them as much as it bothers you. And frankly, again, you're spending energy on someone that you don't care about when you could be spending it on someone that you really do care about. Those are my words for you. Thank you to the 32 of you who stuck around for the entirety of that. That meant a lot to me. I really appreciate those of you who did. This show means a lot to me. I just want to say that first and foremost. It's provided a wonderful outlet for me. And, episodes like this where we kind of take things a little bit slower and have a little bit more fun, and the fact that you guys are still here through it does mean a lot to me. So let's take a look at just a handful of comments before we sign off for the evening. We've been going live for just about 2 hours now. And thank you for that, Pam. Anna Marie says, don't let people rent space in your head for free. I really like how that's phrased. That space can easily be better used. And yes, that negative energy is icky. And Roger says, you only give power to things you decide matter. And I even told him, too, I'm like, the Buddhist philosophy says that you have full agency over your emotions. You can choose whether or not you want to be frustrated, irritated, angry, happy, sad. You have control over those emotions. And, to become a better person, you have to have full agency and full control over those emotions. Okay, so really think about that this week. Think about maybe saying, I forgive you to somebody that is apologizing within your head, and just let it go. Let it go, because it's not worth it. And I even explained to him too, I understand that some of the things that I say and some of the actions that I even carry out are so different from what we see within society that for the untrained eye, for the 7 people who have disliked my video this night, knowing that it's my birthday video, okay, they look at what I do and think that I'm fake, because they cannot accept it within their heart and within their mind that somebody can actually be me. So if somebody is negative to you and they don't believe in the things you're saying, just take it as a compliment. Pat yourself on the back. It just means that you're so far removed from the toxic nature of those people that they can't even wrap their head around the idea. Again, thank you to everyone who watched tonight. Guys, we have a new outro. And what's really, really exciting about that outro is I can actually talk over the music before it plays. We kind of got a little bit of an overlap. So guys, this has been, and I hope it works. For the love of God, I hope this works. I've spent days working on this. Guys, this has been the Sunday Reseller Roundup for September 8th, 2019. This has been a blast. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my cake. I hope those of you who had snacks enjoy the rest of your snacks. Please check out our Patreon. Please like this video. Please sub to our channel. Tell a friend, tell your mother, tell your brother, tell your uncle, tell your postman, most of all. But thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And remember, guys, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a wonderful night, guys.